Hi, everyone. My name is Suzanne Pena. I'm an education consultant for SMP Education Consulting. I am right now all the way from sunny Florida, and I wanted to share some useful, easy tips for virtual teaching now that we have embarked in this new journey with virtual teaching. And a lot of teachers are struggling and are trying to understand and trying to get through this crazy times that we live in. So I wanted to share just 5 easy tips that um, should be easy to implement, and hopefully they will help you have achieve success with your uh, dual language or bilingual classroom or a general education classroom in general. So the first tip that I would have would be to be realistic about your expectations. And what I mean by that is that we have to be realistic as to what we're expecting our students to accomplish during virtual teaching as well, or virtual learning, as well as what we can accomplish as educators, right? A lot of us, we're learning how to do virtual teaching. So it, it is very important for us to be realistic as to what we're capable of doing. Not needless to say that maybe 3 months from now we'll become experts, but right now we're still learning. So we have to be realistic with that and try to keep our expectations within that capacity of being realistic. So, and also for our students, we have to understand that the day is not going to look the same as a regular classroom, right? It's not going to be a 7 hour day where we have lunch, recess, and whatnot. It's not going to look like that. So, because it's not going to look like that, we have to make sure that our expectations for the work that students are going to be accomplishing at home needs to fit those expectations. So, what I mean by that is that the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards actually recommends that for homeschooling, it should be around 1 to 2 hours for elementary students, elementary grade students, 2 to 3 hours worth of work for middle school students, and 3 to 4 hours for high school students. So if we put this into perspective, right, the tiny little munchkins in kindergarten should not be doing 3 and 4 hours worth of work. We have to make sure that the work that we are giving our students can be done within those parameters, right? And especially the younger ones would be more to that 1 hour side, and our older elementary would be more towards the 2 hour, right? So we have to keep our expectations, and we have to be realistic with those expectations for us and for our students. Tip number 2 would be schedule office hours or parent teacher conferences. So assign those. Make sure that you have a time within your day that, let's say, from Mondays from 1 to 2 p.m., that is when I'm going to meet with um, the top list of the top names on my list, like say on alphabetical order, that would be, you know, Alfonso, Alonso, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to take 5. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to go then to the next letter, and then so on and so forth. Right? It's very important that we do this because realistically, going back to that tip number 1, we cannot be expected to be answering questions 24/7. They are going to come, but we need to set those parameters for us and for the parents as well. Tip number 3, give yourself a learning curve, okay? In everything that we do, there's a learning curve, right? When we learn how to ride a bike, those of us that know how to ride a bike, hey, there was a learning curve. First, we went into the little, probably the big wheel, if anybody remembers those. And then from there, we maybe went to a little tiny bicycle with the training wheels. And then from there, we got comfortable with that. And we got into a bigger bicycle without training wheels, and so on and so forth. So if we had learning curves for riding a bike, we have to give ourselves a learning curve for doing distance or virtual teaching, right? It doesn't come like that. It doesn't. Even though we had to implement it like that, it does not come like that. So with that being said, we can't have expectations that we are going to learn everything that has to be to learn about Google Classroom. We have to keep it realistic, and we have to give ourselves some time to learn. We often, as teachers, want to have the most beautiful, perfectly planned out lessons. But in this time, we have to be understanding that they are not going to be perfect. That, hey, that video that I did might have some pauses, like the one I'm having right now. And it's okay. It's okay. Technology might not work perfectly when we're doing these live lessons. It's okay. Give yourself that learning curve. Be reflective. Learn from it. Learn what went wrong, what didn't, what you can change if there's something that you can change, or if you have to adapt and do something else. Learn from that, but give yourself a learning curve. Tip number 4, think outside of the box, okay? What I mean by this is that your traditional classroom is no longer, right? We don't have the traditional classroom. Now it's an online classroom or virtual classroom, right? So therefore, because we are not in the traditional classroom, we cannot maybe do some of the things that we were known to do in the classroom for our students. So that being said, we have to make sure that we create maybe more project-based learning. We go back to that. We do a lot more cross-curriculum projects that involve maybe math, science, social studies, a little bit of everything. And they are actually, the student can complete it throughout the entire week as opposed to one day. Allow yourself to think outside of the box. This is a great opportunity. Virtual learning or virtual teaching is a great opportunity to try out those project-based learning and actually be able to involve the entire family in these projects. So this is a great time to do these. My last and final tip number 5, I think it is, if you don't think of anything else, or you don't remember anything else that I said today, at least think of this last tip. Give yourself time to breathe, okay? Give time to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Hey, your virtual teaching lessons are not going to go perfect on the first try. If they do, fantastic. But if they don't, it's okay. It's fine. You are in great company. But give yourself that time to take a breather, okay? You are not superhuman, even though sometimes we want to think that we are, but we're not. We need to give time to ourselves to take a breather. Hey, watch all that TV show that you've been dying to watch. Read a book. Take a stroll around the block, as long as you're following social distancing, right? But give yourself that time. You also need that time to, like in the Bad Boys movie, time to woo-sigh it out, right? And with those tips, I want to wish you a lot of luck, my best wishes. Stay strong. I know you got this, teachers. And if you have any questions, feel free to check out our website at smpeducationconsulting.com, also our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our YouTube channel with that is Bilingual Education Rocks. And I'll see you soon. Bye.